Welcome, friends, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a podcast created by fans for the fans, and we appreciate you listening to episode 131. I'm your host, the Architect of Pro Wrestling Podcast, Andy.
I am also host of No Selling Wrestling Indie Fan and football lover, Jeremy.
Right now, we are missing our other host, Tim, but he will be on here in a little bit. I'm sure people are just like, sometimes when he comes on late, they're like, why don't you just wait? It's like, because it just gets later and later, right?
Yeah. We'll be doing this until midnight if we had to.
It's like 9 o'clock right now. We used to start at 8. Then we had to push it to 8:30. Now it's kind of like 8:40, 8:45. And tonight it just happens to be 9. And it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So this week we're going to be talking about the King and Queen of the Ring tournament pay-per-view. Or I should say PLE for WWE.
PLE.
And then we will be talking about the Double or Nothing pay-per-view from AEW. And more. Before we get started, though, please follow us on all social media at the PW Fan. I think every single one is at the PW Fan. I don't think we have anyone that's like different.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get right into it. I will say before we get into Raw first, well, a couple things. As always, if you've listened to previous episodes that take place right after a pay-per-view, we kind of blow through the weekly stuff a little bit because it was all just
go home shows.
Yeah, they're called go home shows where the storyline's already pretty much set. There's not like much new that is going on. I'll also say the other guys don't know this, but I was just looking at my stuff I have to do next week. I can't do the podcast next week, so we're gonna have to skip it.
Looks like we're missing a week.
I have an appointment at this place called Open Works where you get trained on like digital fabrication stuff, and I need it for school, and I made an appointment like a month ago.
That sounds pretty cool.
It's at 6 o'clock in Baltimore, so I got to do that. But that being said, so I watched today. It's 2 hours long without commercials, if you're not fast forwarding. But the A&E biography Eddie Guerrero is good.
Yeah. I want to watch that. I haven't seen it yet.
Good. Came out yesterday was Sunday. Yeah, it came out yesterday at 8. But I would have watched it probably on time, but that's exactly when Double or Nothing was starting. So
weren't watching it then. No, for 4.5 hours.
It was cool. I mean, so there was a documentary about Eddie Guerrero that came out like right before he died. And obviously there was a lot of footage from that, and you cut things out. So there's a lot of footage that was filmed during that, but just wasn't used. So it was cool to see, unreleased footage that I'd never seen the light of day up until now. I want to say it was way more in depth because there were some things in there that they talked about, I guess, in the original. I think it was called Cheating Death, Stealing Life, is what the original documentary was called.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That's what cool. Though. So it's more in depth for this one.
Yeah, I mean they talk about the things that were talked about in there, but they give it more detail because there's a little bit more time, and also, obviously, it was filmed before his death, so this went past the point of filming into his death, and then legacy stuff.
Yeah,
it was really good. Cool. Next week's is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I don't know if I talked about it last week. The one before that was Stone Cold Steve Austin's last match.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It wasn't about his life. It literally started from like WrestleMania 19 to I guess his retirement, and then like everything that led up. We watched half of it last night, me and Tim, but Tim fell asleep on me, dude. He fell asleep on me at 10:30.
Every time he does that.
10:30, dude.
10:30, man.
And you know what's funny? The weekend before, I think it was the weekend before I was over there, maybe 2 weeks before. We stayed up till 2.
Of course, when there's no pay-per-views on, he can
work stay yesterday either, by the way. So like,
yeah.
I was like, "What time did you get up?" He's like, 12. I was like, PM. And then you fell asleep on me at 10:30.
Oh my god.
So he had to finish the pay-per-view today on his own. He conked out during the Adam Copeland and Malachi Black match, like early. I
I was
tried
gonna
to
say,
wake
like,
him
how
up
did he
when the
do that?
surprise happened at the end. I was like,
Yeah.
but dude, he was out. I was like, fuck. So I
I
finished
was
the
gonna say, how do you fall
pay-per-view.
asleep during that one?
Well, so I didn't finish the pay-per-view last night. I turned it off. I watched the Mercedes Moné match, and then I turned it off. I was like, if I'm
Yeah.
just hanging by myself, I'm just gonna want to watch what I was watching by
Yeah.
myself anyway. So I was
Yeah.
in the middle of watching Dune Part 2, and so I finished that, and then I finished the
Is that
last
worth
two
watching?
matches
I haven't seen
today.
it.
Look, God, I mean, we could get into the whole thing. People are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" I
Yeah.
liked Dune Part 1. I liked Dune Part 2. But people hyped
Yeah.
up Dune Part 2 like too much, and
Too
I wish
much.
no one ever like said anything to me because then my expectations were like set
Yeah.
a certain way. It was a really, really good movie, but people were like, "It's a masterpiece." I was just like, it was good. It was really
Yeah.
good, but like it was also like 2 hours and 46 minutes long. But like,
Yeah.
I hate when people hype things up or like shit on something because then I go into like them with
It's kind of like, to
that.
bring it back to wrestling, it's kind of like when they called Edge and Randy Orton's the greatest wrestling match ever. Remember that?
Or the Brock and Roman both titles, the biggest WrestleMania main event
Yeah.
ever.
It kind of ruins it.
I was like, I feel like Rock and Cena was bigger, but
Yeah.
or Rock and Hogan.
Yeah.
And I will say this for the listeners, since it is just you and me, and we're the only ones that have seen, and I told you today, Netflix has secured the rights for Heels, which was originally a Star show. Me and Jeremy have watched both seasons. Tim has never seen any of it. It's very good. That's my short opinion on it.
I think it's very good too.
As a wrestling fan, it's really good. It's not just about wrestling. The story's actually good.
Yeah.
But
The
season
wrestling
2
stuff
ended
in
in
it
a
is
big
very good.
cliffhanger, and then Stars was like, we're not going to do
Yeah, they
another
canceled it.
season. And it's like, what? So now that it's on Netflix, I feel like if like enough people watch it,
Yeah. So
it'll
everyone
get
go
some
and watch
traction. Yeah,
Heels
go watch. It's really
when it
good. I
comes on.
promise. I promise. I'm not.
It's really good.
It's not
Punk's
like a
in it.
corny wrestling show. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
CM Punk's
season
in
2,
it. They got other
CM Punk's in it.
wrestlers.
A bunch of wrestlers. Season 2 has Punk, AJ Lee, Nick Aldis, Jordan Grace. I was like, what's her name? There's a bunch of people that make cameos. Damien Sandow.
Yeah.
It's good. I promise. I'm not going to steal you wrong. I'm not going to tell you to watch it when it's not.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So let's get into it. Like I said, I'm going to go pretty fast.
Yeah.
And chime in if you have something to say about what I'm going over, Jeremy.
All right.
Okay. So starting with Raw from the 20th. Sami Zayn and Chad Gable had a I guess promo segment with each other. I think it took place after a match, if I'm not mistaken, but could be wrong.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker had a match with a jobber and completely destroyed him, sent in an ambulance. Adam Pearce was mad. It was all because Braun Breaker is angry that he wasn't in the King of the Ring, which apparently that storyline, I don't know if you're watching.
Makes sense.
Jeremy, but that storyline is continuing currently right now on Raw.
Yeah. But I like it though because it's like it makes sense. It's not like something he's upset over, like, he's a bottom of the card person.
Now let me ask you this. My friend Corey, who I've talked about sometimes, I think it was him. Like he's like, Braun Breaker in NXT looks massive. He's like, he's kind of just like a normal guy on the main roster.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of funny. Well, I guess he'll be massive eventually because all those guys will come up. But like, it's funny, like the different, I don't know,
like him
body
compared
size.
to Drew.
Yeah, like there's Drew, and then even like Orton now, and AJ Styles, and like a few of those other guys are like jacked
on 500 cc's.
Yeah,
isn't that what we were saying during AJ's match at Mania? I was like,
yeah,
he's on 500 cc's at this
and then someone in the top decks yelled it too.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the storyline that they're throwing Braun Breaker into. Lyra Valkyria defeated Io Sky to move on to the finals for the Queen of the Ring tournament. Carlito has been getting involved in Judgment Day business lately, and Braun Strowman has become a threat and continues to be one for the Judgment Day. So we'll just see where this goes to continue tonight on Raw in the beginning of the show.
I feel like it's random to see Braun Strowman back, but
it is. It's also just like I don't even remember how he got thrown into. I think he came out to save.
I think that was it.
Save who'd he save? Ricochet, probably.
I think so, right?
Something like partner that. Before he got hurt.
Yeah.
Before. Gunther cut an empty arena promo on the upcoming King of the Ring tournament. There was a funny meme. It was like, "What's Gunther doing in AEW?"
Oh, right.
It was just him standing in the stands with no one in there. Maybe chuckle. Backstage, we saw Sonya Deville make her return. I don't know what kind of role she's going to be in, if she's going to be back in that management role or not, but she was away from injury, the commentator said. I couldn't remember. But I guess, so was she champions with Shayna and then got hurt and they had to lose it?
That's what I thought it was from the last time we saw her.
Well, I couldn't remember. So do you remember like Raquel was paired with I don't know. Remember Raquel Rodriguez was paired with someone, she got hurt, so then they had, or someone got hurt and then they gave it up. I can't remember, and then I think the same thing happened. But I think Sonya and Baszler were
because I think we were joking about before, it was like cursed almost because everyone kept getting hurt.
Yeah, so Shayna was backstage during this segment, and so was Zoe Stark.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because that's Baszler's buddy on Raw.
Yeah.
Yes, well, because my next bullet point is Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark earn a women's tag team title shot. I'm not sure when they're going to cash that in on Jade and Bianca, but
it's nice to see that the tag title is still going.
Yeah, they're still surviving.
They do something and they don't do anything with them for months.
I think with Jade and Bianca, they're kind of
they keep them. Yeah.
In the main event, Gunther defeated Jey Uso to move on to the finals. I believe he did this by choking him out. I think Jey passed out.
Yeah,
was the finish. So we now have the Raw finalists for the tournaments, which was Lyra and Gunther. Moving on to Dynamite, and just like WWE this week, because it was it happens a lot. I will say, double pay-per-view weekends. We do seem to cover that. A lot.
I do enjoy it sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, this is so much.
Sometimes it's exhausting, though.
Yeah.
Especially if you have plans. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
So, Dynamite this week. So, I wrote Bang Bang Gang segment. All right. So, the Bang Bang Gang was out. Yeah. Was out there. And I mean, Jay White was cutting the promo this time. Mm-hmm. And I guess it was just
there wasn't bad. Yeah, it wasn't great, but it was also
someone from the audience yells out, "Who wrote this shit?"
Yeah. That was right before, I think it was who came out, Pac or the Death Triangle.
It was right before they came out because Pac came out next and introduced that Death Triangle's back and that they're gonna face. Because
it was at lull. That's when it was kind of quiet and the guy yelled it, and I was
when they came out though and were fighting, and it's the arena was quiet when both teams were. I was
it wasn't really anyone invested in this.
And that will get me to what I'm talking about later. All right, so after Swerve defeats Nick Wayne, Swerve and Christian fight in the arena, which leads to the outside and fighting on cars and whatnot ahead of their I would say main event, but Tony Khan is saying a triple main event, and I
was don't do that thing that WWE used to do a lot.
And it's not against AEW. WWE has definitely done it before.
Yeah, I didn't like it when they did it. Don't like it when they do it either.
Yeah. So I'm not just getting on AEW. Malachi Black defeats Kyle O'Reilly. Adam Copeland pops up on the Titantron, and God, Adam Copeland this week, including the pay-per-view, feels like he's doing exactly what he did in his last WWE run with little differences or freedom. He's like, let me see if I can redo this the way I actually want to do it.
He was like, I have this idea. I wanted to do it this way.
So yeah, he dumped the bloodbath on Malachi Black, and during the Titantron video, he was saying how the stipulation was, well, if Malachi Black loses or wins, Adam will bend the knee, join the House of Black. He said, but what if I win? He said, does the House of Black join me? And then he said, House of Blood. He said, that's something I can sink my teeth into. So that kind of, as a fan, makes you wonder, like, is he just gonna do the same? Like, if he wins and that happens, like, is he gonna just?
Yeah.
I guess Judgment Day maybe didn't go the way he wanted it to with him, and I don't know.
I think he said it before in an interview that it didn't, because they want to do more like spiritual stuff. I think it was like powers, all that. But isn't like Malachi Black's contract coming up or something? I thought it was.
I think so. I think I saw something.
And like that could. I know we'll talk about it
status
in the pay-per-view part, but like that could be a thing that could be a reason why they're doing it too.
Ooh. Well, yeah, we'll get into the specifics of that match, but main event. I don't know why Bryan Danielson is doing this, but Bryan Danielson versus Satnam Singh.
Yeah.
Ends in DQ.
Satnam Singh in the main event.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the stuff afterwards was really the main event, but
that's the main part. Like, that's like,
yeah.
But like, So afterwards, Bryan gets attacked by Satnam Singh, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, that whole group that's out there with Satnam. The Young Bucks come out to attack, and Darby Allin arrives in the arena, which all night the Bucks have been hanging out flyers saying he was banned. I forget who else we've seen this with in the past, like hanging up flyers like they're banned from the arena.
Oh, Wardlow. That was the whole MJF and that thing.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And Darby, when he shows up, brings out a flamethrower.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Which, by the way, he has a license to use apparently because he needed that in the state that they were in, which is insane.
Oh, okay. So yeah. Hello, Tim. We are just finishing up Dynamite.
Hello, everybody. The little one needed "Where the Wild Things Are" read to her.
I already read it to her today.
I know. Well, she
read
wanted
it to her this morning.
She wanted it 3 more times, and that's why I'm late.
3 more times. Man.
I mean, to be fair, Andy and I used to do that when we were kids. I mean, I just can't say no to her. Please, Daddy, can you read it one more time? What am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
But I'm
here.
What
you have to say about passing out on me on 10:30? Yeah. I told the fans that you passed out on me on 10:30.
Yeah. Andy called you out.
I had a long work week last week. I didn't nap on Saturday, which I normally nap before Andy comes over. I decided not to. Or sorry, I normally nap on my weekend days home from the barbershop.
Yeah, because you woke up at 12.
And I didn't wake up at 12, all right?
That's what you said. I said, what time did you get up today? You said 12. I said, what?
Well, I woke up I woke up at 8, and then I would be like up for an hour, and then I pass out for 45 minutes, and then I finally got up at like 12. Drank coffee. It was like
I was up to like 3:30.
Dude, yeah, okay. Well, I went to bed at 10:30
in the day, and I drank a monster at like 7. Yeah, I had
a little
to
bit
finish
different. Well, it's rare that I've fallen asleep this early because I don't think any of the listeners really know.
Lately. He's like, I'm going to play my N64.
I'm on an N64 kick. I am obsessed with the system. I can't stop playing it. I'm collecting the old games. It's bad.
And this isn't his first time. If you're like, this is your first time playing N64. No, Tim's just having a resurgence of...
Andy and I grew up with it. It's a special system for him and I. He knows why. And yeah, just brings me back. Makes me feel good when I play it.
Yeah.
Gives me what is it, endorphins or whatever? When you get the dopamine, I get some dopamine.
Dopamine from it, yeah.
So back to our regularly scheduled program. Yeah, that wraps up Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
Went through Raw. Now we are at SmackDown. I'll go straight from SmackDown into the King and Queen of the Ring. Nothing to talk about Rampage and one thing, which I guess I already.
Well, you kind of mentioned it already.
Well, I guess I got confused because Adam Copeland showed up on the Titantron on Dynamite, and then Adam Copeland showed up on the Titantron on Collision.
Yeah, on Collision, he said the part about joining them and whatnot.
So
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go over Collision. But SmackDown. Nia Jax defeats Bianca Belair to move on to the finals. I could not believe this happened, but I guess I know why, because of the kickoff match on...
Yeah.
Who called it? Who called it?
Tim called Nia.
Tim called it.
Remember,
we
I
had
said
the Grayson Waller of...
I said that last episode. You guys were like, really? And I was like, I just think.
We had the Grayson Waller effect with him and Austin Theory. And you know what sucks is that I can't remember who was on it.
Yeah, I don't know either. I didn't really. I didn't watch SmackDown that much. I'll be honest.
I mean, because
I'll
the next
find
segment,
it. Jamie will find it. Keep going.
No, I got it. I'm on Google. Because the next segment was Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes, where they talked about in a press conference or something. Also, by the way, this SmackDown took place. It was not pre-recorded like they normally do. It actually took place in Saudi Arabia. And so earlier in the day, there was a kickoff show, and Logan Paul said he wasn't going to use, the brass knucks, and he gave it to Michael Cole. But then he ended up having another pair of brass knucks during the SmackDown segment. So the Grayson Waller effect this week had Carmella Hayes come out. It was supposed to be LA Knight, but Carmella Hayes came out first, and then LA Knight came out. And so it looks like LA Knight and Carmella Hayes, who was called up from NXT, are continuing to feud. I already talked about the Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul segment. And then Randy Orton would defeat Tama Tonga in the main event to move on to the finals. So we now have both King and Queen of the Ring final matches confirmed. It is Lyra Valkyria versus Nia Jax, and then Randy Orton, which is Gunther. That one I called. I think you all called too.
Yeah, I think we all called that one.
Yeah,
it's also a better match.
We all agreed on that.
Gunther versus Randy instead of Gunther versus Tama Tonga.
Yeah.
Just my thought. All right, King, Queen of the Ring took place in it was Jeddah, right? It wasn't Riyadh.
Yeah, Jeddah.
It was Jeddah. Kickoff match. There was one. It was Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair teaming up and defeating Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell.
Just real quick, I don't want to get all political and stuff. Is there a reason? Has there ever been a reason explained to why Sami Zayn has decided that he's cool to come over there now? Because he didn't want to for a while, if you guys remember. It was kind of
I forget the exact reason, but he talked about it before.
He's
and explained why.
He's made peace with it or whatever.
This is his second time now.
Yeah, I don't know if he's made peace with it. I think things have changed, is why he can go over.
And I mean that's good. But
yeah,
and obviously I don't want to speak on something that I don't have a understanding of, but it was cool to see him over there just because in the past I know, and he said he wouldn't do it. So
yeah.
Tim, I did see, since you weren't here, I talked about it earlier, and I did watch the Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, dude, was it good?
It was good. Do you remember? So I'll do it quick. So that Cheating, Death, Stealing, Life, there was footage from it in there, but there's also a lot of footage that wasn't used for that documentary that was used in this. And so it's never been aired.
Interesting.
But obviously it goes past where Cheating, Death, Stealing, Life, because that came out while Eddie was still alive. So it goes into stuff with JBL and his death and legacy. It's 2 hours without commercials. But I was curious because while I was watching, I was like, I think I'm going to ask this. What is your guys' favorite Eddie Guerrero gear type?
When his Undisputed run, where he would have the It was almost like the
red.
shattered looking glass on the side that was like turquoise gold and like
Ooh,
red.
that's a good one.
And then he had like the gold and the black and gold boots. And the black that was the pants were like mainly black, but down the thighs on the sides were like turquoise gold and like a cool color. Like he had a couple of variants of those.
I like that one, but also like the red on the side. I think it was black.
That's when he won. That's when he won the belt from Brock, and I think he was also wearing that. I think he was wearing like kind of that at Mania against Kurt Angle.
Now to go back before that though, I always liked one of his looks. Heel Eddie Guerrero in WWF, WWE, like 2001, 2002, like when he was feuding with Edge and he was a bad guy, he had this gear, same boots, always the black boots with the gold flames, but then it was red tights with like gold, like fringe, not fringe, but gold like designs going down the side, gold and black. Those were cool. That was like that's like an old Eddie Guerrero, I remember.
So I was watching. I was like, I think my favorite was Eddie. I guess towards the end, he wore them against Ray. They were black with like turquoise flames.
That's the ones I'm talking about.
The light blue flames. Yeah, those ones.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I thought were cool because he wore the red tights against Brock, and they wore black tights but with like orangey red flames at Mania against Kurt.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next Mania he faced Ray, but I don't remember what he wore.
He had some
cool.
But
then that summer is when he wore the black flames with the blue flames.
I did not like him in
always the gold and black boots.
Yeah, always the gold and black boots. I didn't like him in the singlet, not my favorite, but I did like him
white.
He had some cool WCW gear. That was
the
also
Halloween Havoc gear is cool.
Yeah, that's the black and the gold and the orange.
All right, back to what we were doing. King Queen of the Ring opening match, like I said, was Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair defeating Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell in a women's tag team championship match. So that was the kickoff match, which I feel so. I mean, do you guys feel bad for Bayley on this run? She doesn't get on the poster. Bianca was on the poster, and she's in the kickoff show. Bayley wasn't even on the card.
Yeah, what happened to Bayley?
She's still the champ.
I know. Like, why is she not on this card?
I don't know, but
we're not saying Triple H's booking is perfect. We're just saying it's better than Tony Khan's.
Now, guys, there's a lot of pay-per-views this summer. There's 4 more this summer.
It's crazy.
You got Clash at the Castle, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, and then Bash in Berlin.
SummerSlam will be 2 nights also next year.
Not next year. 2020.
Was it following year?
I don't know why they announced it 2 years in advance in Minnesota.
Oh, all right. I was like, I got excited for next year. I was like,
because they're selling tickets, Bubba.
I guess they don't even announce any of that early. Like tickets.
I know.
Tickets didn't go on sale this year till October 2023.
Yeah.
And I scooped them up.
Oh, we went both nights. One of the best times of my life. That trip, loved it.
Yeah, me too.
We went hard. We came. We went.
I told Jeremy the secret concoction.
Yeah, now Jeremy can't watch wrestling without the concoction.
Yeah, no, I can't do it without
the secret concoction. Tito's and marijuana, but be careful. You might not come back on the other side.
So the official opening match of the pay-per-view was Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship. Crowd was behind them. Strong opener. Fan favorites. Dominic Mysterio would come out. And how do you feel? Do you think he was out there to cost Becky or to cost Liv? Because they make it seem like, he was out there to cost Becky. But he's been shown backstage with Liv.
I know.
Dominic's found a new mommy, all right? Liv's going to take over, replace Rhea when Rhea comes back.
Yeah, I mean, that's where they're going. But
yeah.
Well, it also makes me think of this. So, obviously, if it's not obvious to y'all, Liv was supposed to feud with Rhea, but Rhea got hurt.
Yeah.
Right? That was the plan. Liv came back and wanted revenge.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been Rhea and Liv in Saudi Arabia and Liv still would have gone over? Because Becky, it's obvious, was a placeholder because they had the Battle Royal.
I feel like it wouldn't have been Saudi Arabia, though, because that would be... I don't think that's a good idea at all to switch titles there.
But that's what they did.
I know. But, like, as a placeholder, I feel like...
I don't know. I just wonder what the original plans were. That's the kind of stuff they never, like, really release, is, like, when plans shift.
Yeah, like, what was the original one? Well, we found out, like... I mean, I think everyone already knew, but, like, Cody and Rock...
Dude, we're still waiting to see the behind the curtain.
But that was crazy.
Just, Rock has to approve it.
But that was crazy that Cody basically was like, yeah, I was supposed to, like, not react the way that I did.
He was supposed to smile and be happy, and he didn't, dude.
Smile and give The Rock his spot.
And he didn't.
He wins a business for himself.
And he kind of admitted that he did it on purpose.
Yeah, fuck it. I would
love Cody.
Yeah, me too.
So, Liv Morgan won. Dominic Mysterio was out there. I think a chair got involved.
Yeah, he slid it. Dominic slid a chair in first, and that's why they were like, "Oh, is he helping Becky?" And I'm like,
and then Liv pushed it, and it didn't go fully out of the ring. I was like, ah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, second match. Second match was fast-paced and exciting. Sami Zayn, who's super over, came out last. It was Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, and Bronson Reed for the Intercontinental Championship. Towards the end of the match, Chad Gable was holding Sami and wanted Otis to attack him. Otis at first did not do it, and then Chad slapped Otis. He was mean to the big guy, all right? And Otis went to do it again, and instead Sami Zayn had enough time to recover and dipped out of the way, and Otis clotheslined Chad Gable. Sami would get in the ring and end up pinning Bronson Reed. There was a lot of cool spots, a lot of super strength skills, and Tim, you watched it more recently than me. There was some stuff you texted me about. Oh, Sami's Blue Thunder Bomb to Bronson. Tim likes Bronson Reed now, by the way.
I just don't. I don't not like him. I said he kind of grew on me in this match. He hung in there with these two guys and didn't look like it was why is this guy in here?
I knew he was going to take the pin.
Well, of course,
I think everyone knew
but
that.
you need somebody to, because they're obviously going to do. Sammy's a star, and they're going to do something with Gable, so you need someone in there to take the pin. But I don't know. I like Bronson Reed, but the other thing I really liked was there were some spots where they were doing triple German suplexes. I don't know why. I'm always a sucker for there. It's kind of dumb. The fact
I like those.
The fact that you would still hang on to the guy while
Bronson
you were
did it, so it was
but I kind of like it at the same time.
Yeah,
it's silly, but it's like
you're
a good
going with
silly.
me too.
Yeah, it's like you're all going with me. You're all going with me.
So Sami retained the title, so he's still Intercontinental Champion. After that, we had the Queen of the Ring tournament final, Lyra Valkyria versus Nia Jax. Bit of a David versus Goliath situation between those two. I think they've been doing a good job of showcasing Lyra, but Nia did go over, which I can't believe they did, but
yeah, me neither. I thought that was gonna be. I was like, this is bad enough that Nia's in the final of it.
Dude, I just hate Nia. I hate it. There's nothing about her. Maybe
The Rock
that's
was like,
what she
"How
is
you know I need
do.
my cousin to win."
So Nia is your queen. Triple H came out and put the crown on her
Anybody
head.
want to take this piss bottle real quick?
Oh my god.
I need it out of the room.
They've done a good job with Lyra. I think they showed that Lyra, can hold her own.
Yeah.
And she made it all the way this far into the tournament. But now this means if Bayley holds her title up until SummerSlam, that it's going to be
Nia's gonna win
Bailey.
a title.
I don't know, but it's going to be Bailey versus Nia, and I'm just never excited for main events or like matches with Nia.
Me neither. Like
Just not.
I don't remember any like match where I'm like, wow, that was a really good match when she was in it.
Yeah. Well, she's the refrigerator. Next match was the King of the Ring tournament final. It was Gunther versus Randy. This match, so men's matches wise, I was telling Tim because he watched it the next day. I was just saying, hey, Sammy's match is like a fast paced one, like all action. This match is like methodical, like slow and methodical, and everything means something.
I like this style. I was into this.
So what would you call it real quick with the main event then, with Cody and Logan?
I just said it was an overall just like entertaining.
It was an entertaining match. Yeah. It felt big.
It's how I described it to Tim.
I hated Logan
everyone did well.
Paul spraying the prime
like...
in the air like Triple H, but we'll get into it.
Yeah. And it had a cool little filming. Yeah. Gunther and Randy though, it's yeah, I mean, I knew these two would put on a good match. Randy usually, I've heard people talk, like other superstars talk about Randy, where Randy does stuff to where everything means something. I feel like Gunther's the same way. It was funny watching Randy get chopped, but it kind of like brought out.
You usually don't see that.
Brought out the Viper in him, and got him all worked up.
Pissed.
Yeah.
But Gunther ended up pinning him, but it was very clear that Randy's shoulder was up. I'm not sure if this was on purpose, but they are going with it now on TV that, because of social media, people are talking about it, But Triple H did say that the ref's call is final.
How often do you think that actually happens when it's like the shoulder's up by accident and they actually have to roll with it?
A lot. I've seen it.
I feel like that happens a lot, yeah.
But Gunther, the ring general, is now the king general. Also during what?
Shouldn't it just be like King Gunther instead of King General Gunther?
I guess it's just a play on words, but it should be King Gunther. But during this match, if you caught it, they brought up Lesnar's name for the first time in a while on a live broadcast, referring back to him winning the King of the Ring tournament in 2002 and getting a title shot at SummerSlam against The Rock. So he is now back in the WWE zeitgeist, and maybe that's when he comes back. Maybe he comes back because it's in Minnesota. SummerSlam 2026, 2 nights. Maybe Bryce like,
that's right.
Let me take a
been
piss
in hiding.
And then
no.
Say who's taking a piss?
All right.
It's just
moving
a piss video. I love that like Brock's voice to us is like high pitched.
It is high pitched.
It kind of is though.
It's not as deep as it should be.
Yeah.
It's like, do you remember Tamina?
Because
where like her voice just did not match her.
I'll never forget when he lost to Bill Goldberg, or when Goldberg made him lose the title to Eddie. He was like, "Because of you, Bill, I can't sleep at night.
Sleep at night." Good times.
Give me Goldberg.
This is why he needed Heyman, man. Until he started being himself.
Remember when he came back? Like, I think it was 2011 or whatever, or 2013. I don't know, whatever.
I mean, Tim, y'all were watching.
It was 2011 when he came back in F5 Cena, which I freaked out.
Yeah,
I freaked out.
And then that was like the first time in like years he came back. But I think it was like following Raw that he did a whole promo, like a 15-minute promo by himself, and everyone's like, "This is why I remember he had Heyman."
Yeah, then Heyman came back shortly.
Yeah, then they brought Heyman the next week.
And then he busted open Cena during the match and beat the shit out of him. And Tim told me he was like watching
Yeah.
with his friends, like, "What is happening?"
We were like,
Yeah.
is this real? Like, what's happening? Because he started like really like elbowing him in the head.
He started doing the elbows.
Yeah, we were like,
Do you remember?
This isn't even
what,
a pay-per-view.
2016? 20. This isn't even a pay-per-view. Him versus Randy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
2016.
he did it on purpose.
and that's
And
the one where
Jericho didn't know. Jericho was backstage, and
And
he's
he
like,
started-
"What the fuck was that?" And Brock said,
and he
"Either
started
kiss
yelling
me
at
or
him, and
fight me."
Vince pulled Jericho's head and said, "Work, you idiot."
Didn't Jericho? He was like, if I had to fight him, he's like, I would have bit his nose first.
Yeah, he said he was gonna bite Brock's nose off. I'm like, shut up, Jericho.
And then main event was Cody Rhodes.
Have you
versus
guys
Logan
seen?
Paul for
It's
the
worth
Undisputed-
looking up for any listeners. One of the funniest videos ever is Chris Jericho outside of a nightclub, and he looks like Chris Jericho with like a
Yes.
leather vest on and stuff. And these like kind of like gangsta
Yes.
dudes are like talking shit to him, and he's like, "Go fuck yourself. Shove it up your ass. Yeah, shove it up your ass. Go fuck yourself."
Dude, it's so.
he just keeps
God.
he just keeps
Shove it up
saying
your
that.
ass.
He just keeps saying that over and over again. It's like the only insults he can come up with.
Yeah.
He has something with the ass because he always says, "Shut your ass" or "Shut up your ass."
Go shove it up your ass. He loves it. That's a Canadian. That's a Canadian roast right there.
The main event was Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul for the undisputed WWE Championship. Winner was Cody Rhodes. Again, I mean, I can't really ever talk bad about Logan Paul during these
I know.
matches. Cody was great. Logan was great. The brass knucks were pulled out. He talked shit to Michael Cole during the match.
That
Logan
table
did.
spot with the camera angle, that was perfect.
With Logan Paul's. Well,
He jumped.
Wasn't there 2 table spots? Like, there was that, but there was also one that Cody did something.
Yeah, but
But
I
the
was just
table,
saying,
like,
like the
didn't break.
camera angle, because it was like the overhead
He, like,
camera.
spun around.
Yeah, and it like perfectly timed it where he jumped and it was all one shot.
So that was what Tim was saying. Triple H spit Prime and then frog splashed.
I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated that he did the frog splash. It's disrespectful to Eddie. Don't ever do that move again.
That's like his move.
I
he
hate
does
it.
it
He
really
does
well.
that.
He does it really good, but he shouldn't.
It's just like he does the buckshot lariat pretty well.
Better than Punk.
Better than you.
all right,
Well,
so
I
that-
gotta say, he definitely does it better than Punk. And I'm a Punk guy.
That wraps up the King, Queen of the Ring. Let's get into Double or Nothing. Okay, before we get started, that's what I was talking to Corey about. You got 10 matches on the card, all right? 10 matches that you got to build stories for weekly within, what, a month? If you cut down the matches, you could have more in-depth stories.
Yeah.
Agree? Disagree?
I mean, yeah,
Am I
it's like
dumb?
it's the same conversation we've had every single time before pay-per-view for AEW.
You know what's interesting? I agree. And for the first time ever, I heard somebody have a different take other than that. Normally, it's AEW needs to focus more on storytelling and not try to do like bangers every week or whatever. For the first time ever, I guess I heard Conan on the Keeping It 100 podcast saying, at least from what I gathered, he was like, "Look, you're number 2. Every match every week has to be a banger, competitive." And I was like, "All right." I mean, I don't think of it like that. Like, I disagree, but
Yeah.
it's interesting to hear like another point of view.
Yeah, what else does creepy Conan talk about, Tim?
No, whoa, hang on. We love Conan. That's because she's a pug.
What's he think of Tony Storm?
But
Calling Tony Storm a pog?
he's like, yeah, back when we used to watch NXT, we thought that she was really hot, but, you know, she was a pug, so, you know, it's one of those things. I've been working on my Conan. I feel like it's really good.
That sounds good.
Disco, let me ask you this. I don't interrupt me.
Inferno
I
Disco?
gave you your chance to talk. Let me talk now. They're always beefing. Him and Disco always arguing. It's I love that show though. Conan, all jokes aside, big fan of the show. Listen weekly. Disco, I used to hate you. I used to hate Disco, but he's even grown on me.
Inferno Disco, who was only kept around to be made fun of.
According to Cody Rhodes, not us.
According to Cody Rhodes. All right. Double or Nothing. Vegas, right? Is it always Vegas?
I think so.
Yeah. Awesome opener. I knew it was going to be a really good match.
Yeah.
Roderick Strong versus Will Ospreay for the International Championship.
Yeah. He did say that as soon as they made the match.
Winner was Will Ospreay. Based on the way they've been booking him, you could probably have guessed that already. I watched it over at Tim's house. Like I mentioned before, we were pretty glued to this match. This match was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, everything about Roddy's good, except for, like, it's in-ring skill-wise, it's just his promos have always just been awful. Him on the mic.
Yeah, I think so. I don't understand how Will Ospreay does that one move where it's like he like does a backflip off the guy. He runs up them.
Yeah. Like he's
that move. I've seen it so many times now, but I still every time I've seen it, I was like, I'm like how does he do this?
No, Tim, didn't you say this would have been a really good match besides the ending? Was it the stuff when he was like fighting what move to do, and Don Callis was like, do the storm or do the...
No, there was a part... Yeah. I don't know if anybody else caught it. There's a part where Ospreay... Is it Ospreay or is it... Somebody low blows Bryce. Ospreay. Blatantly.
Yeah, it was Ospreay.
Oh, no. He tries to, right?
No, he did.
And it was between his legs, and Bryce just
didn't
does
sell
nothing.
Like, I don't know what happened.
I thought that was
there.
Because he tried to or something like that, but he missed. I don't know.
I mean, it was a full blow. It was a full blow.
That was when he was...
We watched it twice.
Yeah, we rewound.
Ospreay was in the powerbomb position.
Yeah,
he was
and he kicked his foot back.
He was like,
and I thought Bryce was supposed to go down. But
it was weird.
Yeah,
it was weird. But other than that,
it was like, whoa, rewind that. What was that?
Yeah, I was like, hang on.
Weird when I saw that.
I was like, something's happening. Go back. It took me out of it for a second. I got thrown off. I was like, hang on, go back.
Yeah.
But then they did the thing with the cutter, and he was like, "Oh, did I hurt my opponent again?"
I don't like that
with the Cody cutter.
Yeah,
Will Ospreay,
Ospreay injuring people thing. I don't know if I'm into that storyline.
Ospreay does love to do some AJ Styles moves. Phenomenal forearm, Styles Clash.
They called it the Styles Clash.
Yeah, they've called it before.
Yeah,
he likes. But you were telling me last night that he's a big AJ fan, right?
Yeah, he's a big AJ fan from what I've read before. Him talking about AJ in interviews. All right, so after this match, after Will Ospreay wins, right afterwards, Adam Cole comes out. And he did a story time with Adam Cole. God, what?
He's walking.
He's walking. What do you say? He wasn't 100. He wasn't cleared yet.
Yeah, he's not cleared yet. He said.
Video pops up on the Titantron. It's like a camera going through a house, and it goes into this room, and it's all this MJF memorabilia.
This was cool.
Kind of weird.
Well,
it was weird, but it was
cool. But
it makes me wonder if he really has a room in his house like that, though. That's just him.
Adam Cole pulls out the devil mask and talks shit about the devil mask, and then that's when the video starts playing, and then you see stuff of MJF's and his coat or his red I guess suit jacket.
Yeah.
And so his music hits, and MJF comes out.
O2 Triple H walks out.
With O2 Triple H returning from injury, walks out with the black leather jacket with the jean vest over it, except for it's an MJF patch on the back. MJF needed a haircut. His hair was grown out a little bit. He has 5 o'clock shadow. He's wearing black jeans and black boots, but no t-shirt, but looking shredded.
He was shredded.
He gets in the ring, kind of stares at Adam Cole. They hug. MJF low blows him.
He's like, "You see these abs? This is how I got Alicia a toot. Okay, by looking like this."
Yeah. So when he gets on the mic, any of y'all, before we get to his ankle reveal, do y'all remember
Oh God.
what exactly he was talking about or said?
Well, I think one thing that he said before that part I liked was that
Trying
he
to find
said
quotes.
he's gonna go back to what drove him the most.
Oh, he said no more
which was
trust.
hate.
He's like the one time I trust someone. He's like,
Yeah.
no more of that.
Yeah, and he's like, hate drives him the most. Once again,
It says here MJF went a bit heavy on the tanning. He also talked about the mask. He threw the devil mask on the ground and did the Ric Flair elbow to it, which was funny.
I did like that. That was funny.
Yeah.
But he did mention the contract stuff that everyone was wondering about, which I think no one was wondering about it anymore because it had kind of been known for months now that he stayed with AEW. But he basically,
he did go. He's like, if you didn't, guys, if your stupid marks didn't know already, like kind of said it like that.
And then he reveals on the back of his ankle. First of all, I don't know what legend he was talking about. The quote
that said,
"Bet on yourself."
Zoom. No, he said the cameraman Zoom. That was the part they was talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, on the back of his ankle, it says "Bet on yourself," and in between it is a poker chip, and it says AEW. And I just went, "Oh no, oh no." You're not betting on yourself. You're betting on the company.
Pretty hardcore statement.
Yeah, it is. But also, like, it's not the worst place. Like, I think I texted that too. I was like, because I thought about the same exact thing immediately, and I was like, you can just cover that up with a sock or like a shoe, and it's gone.
Yeah.
So it's not like where he was. He's where's his wrestling boots?
In a couple of years, you just.
I
said, what if the ship goes down in a couple of years? You just now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he puts on like a boot, you don't see it anymore. So it's not like he's ever gonna. If he goes somewhere else.
That's true. He is wearing boots. It's not like you ever see MJF's ankles, really.
It's not like a neck tattoo or something.
Yeah, it's not like, some wrestlers get a big old fucking neck tattoo one day and just show up on TV.
Above the collar.
Above the collar.
And it was bigger than you thought it was going to be.
A lot bigger.
He turned that into a MJF, brand, though.
He did. That worked out in that way.
It ended up working out. It's still kind of rough, but it ended up working out.
Yeah.
So MJF is back. I don't think Adam Cole is 100% cleared yet, but...
Do you want to say what he said at the end? He called him the Wolf of Wrestling. Or called himself the Wolf of Wrestling.
Yeah, he has a new shirt. It says, like, I'm not fucking going anywhere, and that says Wolf of Wrestling.
Yeah, because that's how he ended the segment.
And then Wardlow took to Twitter, or X, basically saying, like, how MJF is calling himself the Wolf, which is, like, what Wardlow used to call himself. I don't know.
I get it in the sense that he's talking about, like, the Wolf of Wall Street movie, because there's a scene in that where it's like, I'm not
fucking going anywhere.
Yeah. That's basically what he said. So I was like, that made sense to me. But
now that I think about it.
In that movie, though, he also knew that his company was going down and was going to end soon. just throwing that out there.
That's a funny way to look at it, too.
He's like, I'm going down with the ship. Match. We're all going to get arrested and fired together.
Our second main card match was Death Triangle versus the Bang Bang Gang for the Trios Tag Team Championships. What did you say about the guns? You were like something about Dolph.
Oh, I said they like if like Dolph was like Cell, like the guns remind me of like his little Cell Juniors. So, like they like bump around and like
from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, they like could do like create like they have no real like connection at all. Other than that, like I just look at them as two little Dolph Zigglers, like just bumping around like crazy, like doing super kicks.
Well, the Bang Bang Gang did retain their titles, and this was due to a returning Juice Robinson.
Juice.
Rock hard. Yeah, you forgot that he was rock hard, didn't you?
He's hard. HARD.
He's rock hard. Juice Robinson, he's returned. The whole Bang Bang Gang is back. Third match: Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb.
Yeah,
for the
she's a
AEW
pug, so
Women's
I
World
was really looking forward to
Championship.
this match. I thought it was going to be pretty good.
There were only 2 women's matches on the card. It was this and Willow and Mercedes Moné. And I'm going to say, I usually don't care for Toni Storm, and I definitely usually don't care for Serena Deeb, because she's like Dean Malenko. She's just like, great worker. She's like Lance Storm. Great worker, but like, personality.
Nothing else.
But this was the best. I mean, there was only 2 women's matches on the card, but I like this match better than Willow and Mercedes.
I think so too.
I thought it was like wrestling wise, it was way better.
Yeah. I think wrestling wise definitely. Obviously, the story has Mercedes.
Well, according to Bischoff, Mercedes and Willow should have only been 6 minutes long. Is what he said.
Bischoff, I don't like. There's sometimes he says things, and I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have said that.
She still doesn't like Mercedes. He's like talking about how awful she is on the mic.
I know.
Bischoff makes me laugh. I don't agree with all of his takes.
Who's giving her the mic? He's like, it does
said,
more harm for her than good.
Give me an iPhone and a spooky light, and I'll make a better promo with Swerve Strickland than anything Mercedes Moné has done in the last 3 weeks.
Toni Storm ended up being the winner in the end. I was really hoping like Britt Baker would return.
Yeah.
To me, she's the most entertaining to watch for the women.
Why has she been off? Is there a reason?
She got injured. Jamie Hayter, there's no like timetable for, but I thought
Jamie,
there's been a lot of like progress photos with like Britt Baker. I thought she was like pretty much like she's in great shape.
DDP,
shredded.
She was like, yeah.
I don't know. The next pay-per-view is Forbidden Door, correct? They announced it or talked about it.
Yeah, it's next month in June.
All right. After that, God. Look, Jeremy, I'm gonna have you talk about it because I don't care. Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta. Don Callis is trying to now recruit Trent. Orange Cassidy won.
Yeah. The biggest thing that I cared about this was Orange Cassidy brought back his old theme song for a minute.
I said that.
We thought that. Did he come out to it though, or did he just it was the ending theme song?
No, it started playing the normal theme song, but then it stopped, and then it played the old
We'll
the
talk
previous
about
one.
songs later playing. All right,
Yeah.
dude.
But yeah, the previous one started playing like after that. Like it stopped for a second, then it came out.
Yeah, Tim was like, "No, he got rid of this a while ago." I was like, "No, this is that song."
Yeah. So after I think
I thought
they
played the wrong music.
No, they just did like a thing where they just like stopped it and then played.
Well,
that
he
old
had
one.
the "Where Is My Mind" and then went to like the Wet Hot Summer theme song. Wet Hot American Summer. It's probably disrespectful to say that because it's probably not what that is. It's just they use that song as their fucking theme. But that's all I know it from.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't really care that much about this match either.
Yeah, just make me care, and I'll talk about it more.
Just as the next one, I didn't really care either.
During these couple matches, me and Tim were just like, Tim will know what I'm talking about. Next match was Hook versus Chris Jericho versus Shibata. Shabuti.
Shabooty, Shabapa, Shabata.
God, dude. What? So Chris Jericho comes out and he's waving. The fans are booing. He's wearing he's back in the underwear, tights, the undies.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, he's playing into that role of like, I'm doing this for you guys.
He's thanks guys in it all over the place.
Thanks,
guys.
It was FTW rules. Big Bill got involved. What did he almost died by going through a table?
Oh my god, that was like an inch
Remember
away
the
from.
legs popped through.
Dude, that was crazy. I'd
Yeah.
never seen that where the legs went through like that. That was
How did that
weird.
even happen? The legs going through.
Dude,
I don't know.
they didn't get the tables that Tables R Us, all right? Like WWE does. I mean, the worst is New Japan tables. I am like, that's like a
The
3-inch
wood?
thick
The
piece of
2x4?
wood.
Yeah.
Those tables are
What
so
are we
funny.
doing, dude?
Like no one's going through it.
They just tip over too. You pile drive, they just like flip over.
You know what? I can't say anything good about this match. I don't like Shibata.
He's okay to me, but
Hook
like,
I don't
nothing
care
like...
about anymore, and Jericho is just the worst.
Yeah, Jericho to me like ruins this match.
Jericho ruins every match.
Thanks, guys.
Remember the other week you said I'm never gonna lose.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then
He's
he said
He's
think that's what
he's
he was
just
doing
trolling
now?
back fans. If
when
you
they were
chant-
chanting
if you
"Please
chant-
retire" last week,
so rough.
Yeah.
he said, y'all don't mean that because then I'll get put into every wrestling Hall of Fame around the world. Yeah.
But you
All
probably
right.
would actually though.
Jeremy, I'm gonna have you take the reins on this one because me and Tim did not pay attention during this. John Moxley and Takesha.
I mean that's fine though because you kind of seen this match already because they literally have faced each other, and it wasn't anything too different from that.
I know Moxley won.
Yeah, Moxley won.
How was the match?
It was okay. I was just I didn't think it was anything special.
I was showing Tim the Stone Cold biography. We had the TV muted, but we were watching the Stone Cold biography on my laptop. Which Tim only saw half of it, but I think he enjoyed it from what we saw.
I really enjoyed it. It was really good.
But this is when Tim was getting tired. And after I turned it off,
you got to
Tim
keep
went
like
sleep.
it was like a
Tim
little
went
kid. You got to
bye-bye.
keep showing him things to stay awake. You're like, hey Tim, look
He
at
was
this Stone
trying.
Cold thing.
Tim was like,
I was trying. I was like, nah, I'm not sleeping.
when Tim's on
When
the
you're-
couch and his cat's next to him, he's like,
Dude,
Tim's stroking the kitty. He's
he has
like,
a
I'm out.
superpower. My orange kitty.
His
He has his superpower makes me go to bed.
That's too funny.
All right, next match: Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black for the TNT Championship inside of a barbed wire steel cage. Let's talk about Adam Copeland's entrance. Slayer plays. Again, I feel like we saw this entrance already in WWE, but
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
I don't know if it's the same Slayer song. I can't remember, but comes up with his red jacket. He didn't wear glasses this time, like the Brood glasses, but the Titantron did say the Brood on it.
Yeah, it did.
And we had red
so
light.
is that
Which we should have
Like,
known
they're able to
something was
use it
going to
then.
happen.
yeah?
Should have known. So yeah, doesn't take long for both men to get bloodied. Though Malachi got bloodied way more than Edge or whatever. Fuck it, I'm gonna call him Edge during this match. It's easier.
Yeah.
Than Edge did during the match. Look, weapons galore, tables. All right, yeah. Speaking of tables, let's talk about putting Malachi Black onto the table, wrapping him in
this was
in barbed
crazy.
wire,
and
then jumping off the top, but going straight leg.
He pencil
for
dove.
an elbow
He
drop.
pencil dove off.
And they were like, it was an elbow drop. I'm like, I don't even know how the table broke when you're coming straight leg down.
I think it
guess
was
they're
just like he came down. It's like when you're going straight down, you just put your elbow out like this, and then just hit him.
Yeah, well,
That was
after the
it.
match, I think it fucked him because he was limping out of there. But
Well, yeah, that's never a good idea to.
So shortly after
try
this,
to land your jump.
Dude, when you're 50 and you
Shortly
jump
after
off the
this,
top of a
but-
cage onto your ankles, it's not gonna, it's gonna, not gonna be good.
blows out
Yeah.
both knees.
I mean, I guess either way would have been bad. If he landed on his back, he would have been done too. So I don't know. I guess he was like,
Dude,
this isn't gonna hurt as
honestly,
bad.
he would have been better off. And look, I'm not like I don't do this normally on the show. Like, you know what he should have done in the ring. We don't normally talk about the
Yeah.
moves part because that's
Just a
not our
regular
business.
turnbuckle.
No, if he had just like in my head at
And
least,
like a splash.
if he just had done like a splash on his belly on the table off the top, would have been way safer than jumping
I thought he was going to do that.
straight down on your feet.
That's what I thought he was going to do at first, because I was like, what else does Edge do when he jumps?
I knew he was going to do that. I think in the air, his body took over like, fuck this.
Well, like, worst case scenario, I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, you maybe break a rib or you, like, get the wind knocked out of you. But, like, the other scenario, you're, like, you're going to blow your ACL, MCL.
Your legs are done.
Meniscus.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I mean, I kind of get that
like,
feeling, though, because that was like when I swim, and you know how people dive in the water? Like, my body physically can't dive because I try to dive and my body immediately like jumps out of like, it's like, no, I can't do that. Dive head first. I feel like that could be like he was jumped and was like, his body like, no, we're not doing this.
No. So shortly after that, they get out to the outside and the rest of House of Black comes out and they're standing next to a kneeling Malachi.
Wait, how did they get to the outside? Like, I saw Edge got thrown through the door or something?
Through the door, yeah.
Okay. I like looked down for a second. I was like, how did he get outside?
So Edge is kneeling, Malachi's Black kneeling, they're facing each other. Malachi Black has Buddy and Brody by his side, and then they change sides and stand next to Edge. And for a moment, the fans are thinking, "Oh, they switched sides." But then Brody just fucking clotheslines the shit out of Edge. And they bring him into the ring, and they're holding him up.
Crucifixion.
Malachi Black places a crown of thorns, barbed wire.
This is rough.
On Edge, and then the lights go red.
Look, guys,
Brody
I'm
King
not saying I'm offended. I'm not saying I'm offended, but can we please just relieve religion out of wrestling? Just at all facets, please. Politics, religion, just leave that out of wrestling, guys.
But yeah, Brody King goes to like pick up barbed wire and gets like pushed back or something, and out comes from under the ring or from the ring, I should say, instead of he comes straight up.
Yeah,
is Gangrel, which I know was an idea that he wanted to do in WWE, but it didn't get through. So now Tony Khan's like, yeah, whatever you want, Adam. And Adam's like, I want Gangrel. And Gangrel can still do his fucking
He's still got up.
That
Dude,
Impaler DDT was killer. He actually, dude,
so good.
Yeah.
He's an older guy. He looked fucking awesome. Like, you got to give my man props.
He looked great.
I was kind of worried when he was like getting up from out of the ring because it took him a second, but I think it was just like kind of hard to get up.
I think he was in better shape than Adam was after the match, walking up that ramp.
No, he looked good. He looked like he had lost weight. He looked like he was like, it's not like I looked like I was like, oh God, this old guy's out here trying to do it. Like, he looked in character. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for you, Dave.
But
his name's Dave.
Edge
Dave.
won the match by then taking the crown of thorns. Edge won the match by taking the barbed wire crown of thorns and putting it around Malachi, and then doing that like crossface that he did in his WWE career.
Oh yeah,
And did Malachi tap or did they stop the match? I don't remember. I feel like he tapped.
I think so.
But Adam Copeland won. Yeah. So now we're at the triple main event, as AEW called it. So we got 3 main events. First is Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné making her debut. I mean, like I said, I like the Toni Storm and Serena Deeb match better. I did feel like this one kind of longer than it should have. Mercedes had like a special entrance with like a drumming band.
And drums.
Before that, there was a video that talked about like believing in yourself. I've said it before, I fucking hate her theme song. I think it's terrible. Willow came out there and they wrestled. Yeah. And
it kind of sucks because I actually kind of started liking Willow a lot more in the past month or two.
Well, she only kept her title for a month because Mercedes Moné would win. If you didn't think she would already, it's probably in her contract.
It's kind of obvious, I feel like.
It kind of feels like one of those things where it's like, oh, you have this cool toy that you like, but then all of a sudden you got this toy that you really wanted, and now you're like, oh, actually, never mind. This is the one. I
Yeah.
Well, it's like Woody, and then you get Buzz, and you're like,
and then you get Buzz, and then you're like, shit, fuck Woody. He's off to the side, dude. It's all about Buzz
now. So Mercedes walks out, and then Stokely Hathaway starts yelling at Willow, and Chris Statlander pushes down Stokely. Chris and Willow start walking up the ramp, and Chris Statlander turns heel. She turned on her. Sinclair must have gotten to her. Throws Willow down and then gives her a nice clothesline. And my friend Corey texted me and he was just like, hasn't like this been hinted at over the weeks? And I didn't think it had. I just to myself thought that she was eventually going to turn on Willow after, Chris had the title and then Willow got it. From Julia Hart. I just figured, I was like, it feels like Chris Statlander is gonna be mad about that. Willow being her friend and all. Getting the title. So yeah, I was a fan of this. Once Tim finally woke up, I rewound and showed him the Gangrel and I showed him this part of the match.
Yeah, I like both of those parts.
Yeah, I liked more of now, like where they can go, rather than like this match itself.
Mm-hmm. But it's like again, I was hoping like.
I was gonna say that's why I don't order UFC pay-per-views because it's $70 and there's always a little chance I might fall asleep and waste money. So I'm like, I don't want to do it.
Don't worry, man. I got a site for you.
I told one of the listeners about the site. I had a barbershop customer. And he said, "Hey, can you tell me about the site?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got it."
Is he a listener? So he knew about the site?
Yeah, it's Jesse. It's our boy.
He knew the site existed.
Jesse deserves a site. He's an OG.
You just gotta click through some ads, but it'll work.
It always works. Maybe take a different stream at some point. But...
It always works. No, but as Mercedes was walking up the ramp before all this happened, I was like, all right, maybe it's better if Britt Baker comes out during Mercedes. And she didn't. And I was just like, ugh.
Nothing.
I did read, though, that Mercedes, like, in an interview was like, yeah, if Saraya wants to come get it, like, she can get it. I'm just like, easy storytelling. You fucking paralyzed, or not paralyzed, but, like, fucked Paige up and made her retire for years.
Was that her doing it?
Yeah, she did the dropkick from the back during the live event.
I forgot about that.
It was Sasha Banks.
Yeah, that's
very easy storytelling.
Yeah.
That's something I want to see because that's real life. That's a real life story.
Hopefully they do that.
Tony's like, nah, sorry. Something different. Can't do it. I got some other things in mind.
Well, that's a horrible idea.
Now,
I was actually thinking a tournament. I'm thinking a tournament.
We haven't done one of those in 3 weeks.
The next match was the last normal match on the card. Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage for the AEW World Championship. All of the patriarchy would get involved in this match, but they would all get sent to the back eventually. Floyd Mayweather, for some reason, was in the front row for Swerve. I don't know how Swerve pulled that. How do you know the Swerve most famous like fucking boxer in the world other than Mike Tyson? Like,
I know.
How do you get him to come to Double or Nothing? Not a WWE show. You get him to come to AEW. I don't know how you pulled that, but eventually everyone gets banned from ringside and Swerve can kind of take control. But I think this is exactly what you thought it would be, just a solid match between this. I mean, Christian's already really good.
We knew that Swerve was going to win, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Swerve did win, retained his title, and then okay, there's a lot. I'm trying to think of the order I wanted to talk about things for Anarchy in the Arena.
Can I just say something first?
Sure. You loved it, didn't you?
Watching this, I was laughing just imagining your intense reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy, how much did you hate this while it was happening?
So I watched it today. I watched this in the Swerve match today. I was just drinking my coffee, just like.
You watched him this morning, and he's just like, "God damn it!"
This is how he wakes up.
I was like,
watches Anarchy.
I was like, all right, I gotta talk about this. I gotta talk about this. So it doesn't take long for everyone to start brawling, but the only person that isn't out yet is Starby. So then Darby comes out, he starts brawling, but his music.
You called him Starby for a second.
I know.
Starby.
So Starby comes out, and he's out there. He's fighting. His music, though, still continuously playing. Matt Jackson gets on the mic and says, "Turn this music off." He's like, "You know what we should play? We should play our new theme song." So they start playing the Bucks theme song. Eventually, that goes off, and then Bryan Danielson says, "No, you got to play the best theme song in wrestling." So they play Final Countdown. The Final Countdown's playing for a little while,
multiple times,
and then eventually that goes off, and I'll go back, but eventually, maybe just us, because the crowd's going, "We want music." And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm sure there is totally different experience because you're like laughing at it. You're like, this is ridiculous. But then like Matt Jackson, I think this turn off Final Countdown, he's like, this is costing us $200,000 every time I play. He's like every minute it's
costing me $200,000. So look, it was pure chaos. Jack Perry and Darby end up fighting to the back. Jack Perry, first Darby tries to drown Jack Perry in a tub of like ice, and then Jack Perry like beats up Darby, puts him in like a pile of trash or something, and then drives a truck and tries to murder Darby Allin, and crashes it into the pile of things that Darby apparently was in. Now, is this because Darby Allin was actually hit by like a bus recently in real life? And they're like, we're just going to play on that. He's also wearing a face mask the whole time, Darby Allin is.
Yeah. Darby also tried to murder.
If you didn't see this match, just wait until I tell you the more things that happen, all right?
Yeah.
Later on the match, Darby does come back, and Jack Perry
tries to murder.
Because Jack Perry got knocked out when he crashed the truck. So Jack Perry comes back, and he grabs Tony Khan from behind the desk. And he walks out with Tony Khan onto the stage. All right, people have been taken out at this point. And then as Jack Perry walks out with Tony Khan, he throws Tony Khan on the ground. Darby Allin comes out with a flamethrower and lights Jack Perry on fire.
And he actually lights him on fire.
His legs go up. Young Bucks come over with a fire extinguisher.
And Jack Perry doesn't have a shirt on or anything.
No, he has a tank top on.
Does he? I thought
he had a tank top on.
Oh, at that time, okay. All right.
There was a fan video that was filming this from the crowd, from by the ramp.
Tony Khan?
That shows Tony Khan just rolling down the ramp, dude. Just
he's like pushing himself.
He was already like cleared of the fire, but he just like kept like barrel rolling down the ramp.
And then he runs off on the side. And he's like sprinting to the back.
So then also what happens a little while later is they get Darby Allin in the ring, all right? And Okada and the Bucks. They're wrapping a cord around Darby's legs, and they lower down a hook, and they hang Darby upside down. Blood is rushing in Darby's head. Now, this goes on for a long time. I don't know how Darby didn't lose consciousness. Maybe he did, because the fans at this point are chanting after he's been hanging for so long, "Please help Darby." All right, and all that's left during this match is Bryan Danielson, right? Bryan Danielson's the only guy.
Wait, didn't they do the shoe spot?
I don't have
not the shoe spot. It was the chair spot.
I don't have words for it.
So do you remember, Tim? Do you remember last year at Double or Nothing with the exploding super kick with the sparks?
Yes.
The shoes?
Well, the Bucks did that this year, but with a chair. And it exploded when it hit Bryan Danielson. Sparks everywhere. This is all going on. By the way, Darby's still upside down. Hang on.
He's still just hanging there.
All right. So all that's left is Bryan Danielson. Eventually, they take out Bryan Danielson, and the Elite win the match. And Darby is finally lowered to the ground.
Yeah, but they kicked him.
They super kicked him while he's upside down too.
And they had tacks on the bottom of the shoes, and Darby
Yes, they
had
had tacks on the
marks.
bottom of and they pump up their Reeboks, and then they super kick them with their tacked Reeboks
right in the face. And Darby has like tacks all in his nose and everything.
Yeah, so it was good. It was good shit, pal. And that's the main event of Double or Nothing.
And then it ended.
2024. And then it ended. Yeah, it was a great show, guys. Then
so you don't want to close with Swerve winning the title again,
nope.
But you know,
they closed with Anarchy in the arena this year. Fans chanting, "Please help Darby."
Darby's gonna be
literally,
dead in like
dude.
2
I think
years.
it was upside down like 5 minutes. Just like
that was a long time.
Also, at one point, do you remember they lowered they put Darby on the stage that the Bucks come up, and they lower him down under the stage.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that was Anarchy in the arena, and that's the show, guys. So real fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
every time I love hearing about it from you guys.
This is actually kind of a good wrap up because I feel like it's everything that we just talked about put into one. My classic show of the week. I picked this for a number of reasons. One, first and foremost, I felt like watching this DVD the other night, which if you're not watching on YouTube, it's Mick Foley's Greatest Hits and Misses. It's a great classic wrestling DVD. Now, there's a particular match on here that I watched, and it is from WWE King of the Ring 1998, and it's King of the Ring, so it's very timely with what we just watched. And it's the match, Hell in a Cell, Undertaker, and Mankind. And it's the one where he gets thrown off the top. The ones where he gets thrown through the cage. Everybody's seen the clips, so if you've ever wanted to see the full match, this is it. WWE King of the Ring, 1998. Let me take you through the card here. It's actually pretty stacked.
What is the greatest threat to mankind, guys?
And that's the other reason I picked it, because the greatest threat to mankind is The Undertaker. He nearly killed him.
You almost killed him.
So let me take you through this card here. Starting off, we got a tag match, Taka Michinoku and Funaki against the Headbangers, Ken Shamrock against Jeff Jarrett, The Rock versus Dan the Beast Severn, which is a UFC fighter, Brian Christopher against Al Snow, X-Pac against Owen Hart, the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg against the Midnight Express, Bodacious Bart, and Bombastic Bob with Jim Cornette. This is a really bad version of the Midnight Express. So it's Bart Gunn.
What a name that was.
Yeah, it's Bodacious Bart Gunn and Bombastic Bob Holly, with Jim Cornette as their manager.
Bobtastic.
Then The Rock has another match. It's the King of the Ring tournament. So you have The Rock against Ken Shamrock in the final. And then The Undertaker against Mankind in the Hell in a Cell match. And the main event is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kane in a first blood match for the WWF Championship. So it's a stacked card. A couple stinkers in there. A couple stinkers, but it's pretty stacked overall. Definitely worth the
I remember those.
That's
first
Tim's new
blood
favorite
matches.
word lately, describing music albums. The
stinkers.
Describing
couple stinkers,
pay-per-views. It's stinkers. Couple stinkers.
But I'd say overall still worth it, and still holds up, and it's timely because we just watched King and Queen of the Ring live from Saudi Arabia.
Now, I will say this again, because Tim was not here when I mentioned it. In case the listeners forgot, we will be skipping next week. I have something going on that I mentioned at the beginning of the show that I need to do Monday night, and it interferes with recording time. So maybe we'll skip, or we'll do it the next night. We'll discuss between us. But yeah, that's it.
Well,
So,
thank you all so much
thanks
for
for the
joining
classic
us.
show of
It's
the
always
week.
it's always funny. It's always fun. And join us back, and maybe next week, maybe the week after. We'll see. We'll keep you updated on social media. But thanks again for listening to the PW Fan. Hope you all had a good time listening to the episode, guys. Have a good week.